for this great occasion. We have with us the Honorable Foreign Minister, ex-Foreign Minister of Iran, Agha Manocher Mottaki is with us. Ya Zahra is presenting a program which is an interaction with the youth. We will begin the program with the recitation of the Holy Quran, a few questions to the Honorable Former Minister, and then we will open the lines for the public. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم صدق الله العلي العظيم. First of all, on this great occasion, I wish you, our Mottaki, a very, very happy Eid and and thank you very much for coming to Ya Zahra channel program, and we welcome you. Khayli Khush Amadid. Haji, we would like to begin with knowing something about your school and college days. Not many of us know that the Honorable Minister, former Minister, did his education in Bangalore. Yes, it is really true that he did study in Bangalore, in Alamein College during the time of the revolution, and coming back to Bangalore is like another second home to him. So let us ask him a few questions about his school and college days. Haji, how was tell us something about your school and college days.
Yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya mughallib al-ghulub wal-absar, Ya mudabbir al-layla wal-nahar, Ya muhawwil al-hawla wal-ahwal, hawwil halana ila ahsan al-hal. I would like also to congratulate you the Happy New Year, and I heard that 21st of March is the first day of Iranian calendar. At the same time, 31st of March is a big part of the Indian society's New Year. And just we have 10 days different. And from now, I would like to congratulate the New Year to the Hindu friends also of India. But you referred to my memories and my life in Bangalore when I was 21, 22 years ago, 22 years of age. It means 1976. I came here to Bangalore for studying, and those period we have been in a very bad situation in Iran. Shah was ruling in Iran, and the responsibility was not with the Shah. All the permission should come from the Americans and the foreigners, and the people did not feeling independent, and the struggle for independence at the same time, because of the majority belief of the Iranian people, which are Muslim, believing on Islam for influence of Islam in the ruling of the country was a major will of the people and their leader in the revolution, which was Ayatollah Imam Khomeini at that time.
People did not want to be ruled by anybody else.
Yes, and that's why a part of our presence here belong to our social life, because everybody having two part of his life. First, his personal life, and second, his social life. In personal life, we have to study, we have to establish the family, we have to invest for our personal life, so and so. But in social life, we should consider what is our effective role, what is our influence in the society, what we serve to the society. This is another part of the life of a human being. That's why at that time I was going to Al-Amin College here in Bangalore. I started BA for degree and economic history, economic and sociology in Al-Amin College. But at the same time, we were thinking about our responsibilities in our social part of the life. That's why the Iranian Muslim students, they could find each other, and we have started to establish an association which was called Iranian Islamic Association for Iranian Students, which was the first association, Islamic association here in India, which was established by the Iranian students.
So you were one of the founders of the association?
I was among the friends who established this and founded this association. And then we had two activities, we had two responsibilities. First, preparing the ground for understanding of Islam. We were quite young. We established a library with all the Islamic books, and because in the last decades of the last century, Imam Khomeini created a new atmosphere among the Muslims, and that was, we should go back to Islam.
Should go back to Islam.
Yes, we should believe that Al-Islam ya'la wa la yu'la alay. Islam is the best for managing of the society. And this was what Imam Khomeini brought in the last century to the Muslim Ummah, the Islamic Ummah, and to the human being. It was a returning of a human being to religious belief, because after the Western civilization, I mean the Western progress in technology, which is called Renaissance.
Yes.
They tried to say that religion should not interfere in the society. Religion
and politics is separate.
Yes, religion and politics are separate.
Yes.
And they tried to introduce secularity to the human being. And they have created a kind of a system to rule the societies, which was called liberal democracy.
Okay.
That became like a religion, but it was not religion, of course.
I see.
They tried to tell the all human being that the time of religion is over. Religions should interfere only in the private life of the people, not in the social life of the people. Imam Khomeini changed this understanding and brought Islam to the society. He said we should rule the society based on Islam and Islamic teaching, Islamic school of thought.
So Islam fits everything. Islam has taught everything from birth to the grave.
Yeah, he started his revolution from 1963 and won in 1979. And we have been here from 76 to 79. very sensitive and very important period of the history of the Iranian nation and the Islamic Revolution. And that's why part of our activity here in Bangalore and after that in whole India was introducing Islam from one side to the Iranians, from the other side fighting against the Shah.
I see.
And taking the message of the Iranian people during their revolution for the Indian people. We got a lot of support and sympathy by Indian people
I see.
during the revolution. When here in Bangalore or in Hyderabad or in New Delhi, in Bombay, in the other cities,
So just as you set up an association over here in Bangalore and other cities of the world.
then in Pune, then in Aligarh, then in Lucknow, in
So who set this up? The students themselves?
yes,
So
by the students.
So they all awoken by themselves. They had a conscience within themselves to do it, or was it something that the government of Iran asked them to do so?
No. At
Yeah.
that time, it was before revolution.
Acha, before
The
everything.
government, which was the government of Shah, was against this kind of activities.
I see.
And that's why we should make hidden some of our activities here,
I see.
because the consulate general in Hyderabad, which was in the hand of Shah,
I see.
and the embassy in New Delhi, they were looking at who are making these activities against Shah
I see.
in India. That's why I think we have received good sympathy from particularly the Muslim people and all Indian people. We have enjoyed with the democracy of India, establishing of our demonstration, our
What did the Indians do at that point of time? How did the Indians participate? What did the Indians do? I know Agha Afam was there at that point of time.
Yes,
And Agha Ali Jawad and many other people.
in Bangalore we had so many
Yes.
friends from that time
Yes.
who even participated in our demonstration, participated in our gathering and the meetings which we had here to introduce the people what's going on in Iran, to explain the Iranians' struggle against Shah,
Okay.
and to introduce the demands of Iranian people, which was Islamic Republic to be established in Iran in a state of monarchy system of the Shah in Iran.
I see.
And finally they could.
I see.
11th of February of 1979, the former regime of Iran changed and the Islamic Republic took place under the leadership of Imam Khomeini.
Haji God, tell me the participation of the Indians in the activities of in your activities over here. Give me one or two examples as to what the Indians would do. Would they be just the Shia community or the Sunni brothers also, or the non-Muslims? Was everybody involved?
In the society, when we were planning to have a demonstration, some of our brothers, Muslims, either Shiite or Sunnis, participate in our demonstrations.
I see.
Once before revolution, we have been captured by the police here in Bangalore, and we have taken to the jail.
Okay.
I remember the principal of my college, Al Amin, late Maulana Mir Ja'far Ali,
Yes.
who was a Sunni Imam
Yes.
and Khatib. He came to the jail and spent overnight there with us, just to show his sympathy
Support.
to the Iranian people and his support to the Iranian people,
I see.
to the Iranian students here. And we always remind what we have seen here during the revolution and after revolution. After revolution, for example, some new slogan took place, like the Yawm al-Quds, like the day against the arrogant powers in the world, like the United States,
Yes.
and making demonstrations.
Yes.
Imam Khomeini called America as Shaitan al-Akbar,
Yes. The big
the
Satan.
great
The great
Shaitan,
Yes.
Satan.
Yes.
And this was a new literature, particularly for the youth Muslim everywhere. And we could receive the support of the youth Muslim in Arab worlds, in Western countries, among the Muslims, in Asian countries, here in Indian subcontinent, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, everywhere. Because they saw a man came in power who is talking about the necessity of independence of the nations.
I see.
Like the Indian people who fought for their independence
Yes.
when it was a colony
Yes.
of the UK,
Yes.
Great Britain.
Yes. Yes.
And Imam Khomeini tried to bring all the Muslims together. His philosophy was, who are working against Shiites, who are making propaganda against Shiites, or making propaganda against Sunnis, they are not Shiite, they are not Sunnis. It means
They're not Muslims.
Imam Khomeini had a greater plan, a master plan, because he considered the situation in the world. Unfortunately, we were facing with some ideologues like Huntington,
Yes.
who was looking for the clash of civilizations, the fight between the different civilizations. And when the ex-Soviet Union collapsed, then he said, okay, one enemy is finished, and that was communism, and now West should find a new enemy.
Oh, so they wanted to create something.
And they wanted to create something. And they said the new enemy is Islam. And from that time, in the strategy of the arrogant powers, particularly of the United States, they tried to find the ways and draw the strategy how we can make limitations for the Muslims.
I see.
And these are all our memories from the revolution here. But at the same time, I found so many friends in the college, in the university, and
Are you in touch with your friends over here?
yes, even today,
Yes.
with this short trip to Bangalore, I went to my college,
I see.
Al-Amin.
I see.
I saw the vice principal, so many lecturers, and we discussed with them. I met the student. I was introduced by the vice principal to the student that this is Mottaki, who was old student of Al-Amin College 41 years ago. And I started to
Old active student.
yes,
Very
and, and I started to say something to the student,
I see.
and what is the responsibility. But at the same time, we learned a lot from India.
Haji, I was wanting to ask now that you're saying about India. India achieved its independence in 48, and then Iran's revolution happened about 30 years later. Was there any learning for the Iranian revolution from the Indian independence struggle, from all that the father of the nation Mahatma Gandhi did? Was there any learning for the Iranian revolution?
Yes.
Particularly anything that Imam Khomeini quoted about Mahatma Gandhi?
Definitely, the style of life of Mahatma Gandhi, his instructions and speeches that how we should strengthen our independence was very important for us. Independence for a nation has three different areas. In the field of politics, in the field of economics, and in the field of culture. If you try to have your own culture, to draw your own politics, independent politics, and to have an independent economy, then you can say we are completely independent.
Correct.
Imam Khomeini's teaching and his successor Ayatollah Khamenei's teaching is always that we should have a comprehensive independence for our country. You said what was the message of Ayatollah Khamenei last night?
One of my questions. Yes.
Last night we have started our new year.
Yes.
Ayatollah Khamenei's message to the people was, please try to use the Iranian products, the Iranian goods, the Iranian commodities.
So make in Iran like make in India over here is going on.
When I was a student here, the aim was we should have our own from nail to aeroplanes. Be Indian, buy Indian. And this policy is a real policy for a nation to get its economic independence. Unfortunately, during the Shah, our economy was westernized. Our culture became westernized. Our politics was in the hand of the West. Shah had no any authority to rule the country. He should follow what the West were saying, what United States and United Kingdom dictating to him. Imam Khomeini came to say, we will make decision by ourselves, not by the others. We should be independent. For the last 40 years, which the next year is the 40th anniversary of Iranian Revolution, Islamic Revolution, during last 40 years, nobody can say that we followed West or East. We followed the America or we followed the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. Because we were following Quran. And Quran says, La sharqiyya wa la gharbiyya. You should not look to the East
or to the West.
Not to the West. It does not mean that you should cut your relation with the world. No. You must have relations with the others. But you should not obey the others. You should decide by yourself. For the last 40 years, politically, fortunately, thanks to God, we could keep our independence in political affairs. For the economic affairs, it was not too easy because our industries, our agricultures, our trade, our business, all were westernized. All our graduated people who were the minister or director general or deputy minister or responsible officials in different ministries, they were graduated from the Western countries. It means they had westernized minded West-minded people. Imam Khomeini tried to change these minds and turning to the Islamic minds, Islamic school of thought. And it was very, very deep and great step. Till now, we are not independent in the field of economy. That's why last night, our leader concentrated on Iranian nation. Please buy Iranian commodities. Be Indian, buy Indian. This shows that how commonalities are there in our two cultures. And most of the people in Iran, they know Mahatma Gandhi. They know his role. They know the leaders in India. One of the very important teaching from India when I was a student here was the culture of coexistence. Indian society is recognized as a diversity, religions, tribe, and languages, everything. But these Indian people for several centuries, or I can say 1,000 years, they were living together peacefully. Whenever some fighting was taking place here in India or in Pakistan or in Iran or in Saudi Arabia or in Indonesia, Malaysia, any other places, we should find a hidden hand behind who is trying to make us separate. And that's why the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians in India were living for long time together without any clash. If nowadays, here or there, India or other countries, we see some clashes, we should find that there is some hidden hand behind that. Definitely. The Americans, the Zionists, they are looking for separation among the nations. In the name of the religion, in the name of the tribe, in the name of the language, in the name of any possibility to create differences among the nations. And we should be careful. We should take care. It is very important.
On that note, I want to ask you a question going back to your college days.
Yes.
Why did you choose India to come to study in India, particularly the city of Bangalore?
Yes. When I arrived here in India, in Bombay, 1976, then I went to Pune. I stayed a little bit in Pune for 1 or 2 weeks. Then I went to Hyderabad because my admission was from Osmani University in Hyderabad, because we had a friend in Hyderabad. He did send the admission for us. I heard about Bangalore. We have been two friends together, myself and Mr. Mohsen Nabavi, Sayyid Mohsen Nabavi. And we decided to come to Bangalore before finalizing where we have to study. We came here in Bangalore, and from Bangalore we went to Mangalore, to Manipal, and came back to Bangalore. Then we said, this is the place which we have to continue our studying here. I don't know why, but some kind of attractive was there, and it was very attractive for me. And then I made judgment that it was not wrong, it was correct. I found a big number of friends, good friends here in Bangalore.
I think we are very lucky that you chose Bangalore.
Thank you. Thank
Haji,
you.
tell us something about your college days, your most memorable moment over here as a student in Bangalore. Most memorable moment.
Our system in the college was annual system, and it was based on full carryover system. It means it was not necessary you pass all the subjects then go to second year. Even with one or two subjects you could go to the second year and to the third year. It was very good for us because we wanted to study from one side and to make demonstration against Shah from the other side. And 77, 78 was the very sensitive period of our revolution. And sometimes we did left this examination in the college, going to New Delhi, making demonstration there. When Imam Khomeini's house in Najaf was surrounded by Hassan al-Bakr, the leader of Iraq's soldiers, in the midnight here, when we heard in the news, we decided to inform all Iranian associations in all around India to send their representative to India to protest the Iraqi embassy because of this bad thing against Imam Khomeini. Several hundreds of Iranians. We started a very early morning from Bangalore to New Delhi. You know, at that time there was no the fast trains.
Took 3 days maybe.
Yeah, it took 57 hours from here to New Delhi, because we should go from here to Madras, Chennai, and there we should wait for 8 hours to change the train. There was no any train for 200 people suddenly. Then we were going to the railway station, to the officer, and asking him to give some facilities for these people, because the sister of the Shah is dead and we should go to New Delhi to make condolence for the Iranian ambassador. Just lying to get facilities to get the train to go to New Delhi. And he said it is not possible for us. Then we said, okay, if you do not facilitate, then we will inform Shah to close the project of Kudremu in Madras. Then they thought, who are these people? May they create some problems for the economic relation between Iran and India. They said, okay, please do not inform your Shah, and we will facilitate for you. But we got very small space of the train for 200 people, which was not possible. We were standing only, not place for sitting. It was not 1 hour, 2 hour, 10 hours journey. 48 hours from Madras to New Delhi. When we reached near Delhi, it was early morning. We, in the station, we came down for breakfast and everything. Then again, we came in the train, and train started to move. After 5 minutes, the people said, where is Ali Khurushi? Ali Khurushi was sitting just in the stair of the train, because there was no place He was just sitting here, and another person in beside of him. Then we understood that Ali Khurushi fell down from the train.
Oh.
Then we tried to tell the train driver to stop the train and come back to the station to find our person, Ali Khurushi. But there was no way to go forward in the train, because this two part of the train was added to the train, and the door was not open to go forward in the train. Then we started to bring down the chain and showing the shirt when train was turning somewhere, and finally we stopped the train and we came back to the station, and we saw our friend who fell down and his head was wandering and in the clinic of the railway station. And we said, okay, you can stay here, we will go to New Delhi. He said, no, I came for Imam Khomeini, I have to come. With this situation, I will come. And he came. These are very good memories from that time.
On that note, Haji Agha, tell us something about a very memorable moment during the time of your prime minister, during the time of your ministership, while you were the foreign minister. Some victories of yours, maybe some great memorable achievements of yours.
My first visit to India as foreign minister, I think was 2006. And when I planned to visit, official visit to India, Manmohan Singh was the prime minister at that time. Usually the prime minister, the head of states and government, make interview when their counterpart is coming to their country. But the Prime Minister of India made an interview before my arriving to Delhi, and he said, my close friend and the friend of India, Manocher Mottaki, is coming to India and I welcome him.
Asante.
This was very interesting for me. And we had several visits between our two countries. Several times myself, my counterpart, which I worked with 3 foreign ministers of India since 6 years, which I was in the office. And I was responsible for the Joint Economic Commission between Iran and India. We tried to find some new areas for expansion of the relation between our two countries. I think it will take time to explain about different memories during my responsibility. The negotiation for the nuclear deal and negotiation about Afghanistan and our coordination with India, our position towards terrorism in different parts of the world, and also the following the such situation in Iraq after Saddam and the new rulers in Iraq, the Americans' role in Iraq, the American role in Middle East. These were the main topics which was our daily business in politics with different parts of the world. And we tried to follow a logic, because I do believe that the Americans' position is, we have power, he means United States, because we are a powerful country, then our logic, our mantiq should be accepted by the others, because we have power. The mantiq of power, the logic of power. But what Imam Khomeini was saying, Imam Khomeini said, our power comes from our mantiq, from our logic. When we do support justice in the world, it is a mantiq. It means we should not accept the cruel powers. For the last 40 years, the fighting was between the power of mantiq, which Imam Khomeini was representing, and mantiq of power.
The power of mantiq and mantiq of power.
Power of mantiq and mantiq of power. Wherever these two logic faced in front of each other, in this fighting, the victory was for the power of mantiq. I mean the Imam Khomeini's logic, the Imam Khomeini's mantiq. That's why United States came to Afghanistan, United States came to Iraq, United States came to Syria, United States indirectly came to Yemen. When you consider and compare the position of the United States from 40 years ago till now, you will find out United States 40 years ago, just by simple ordering to anybody or any country, they were getting the result. But now they send several tens of thousands of their soldiers to get the victory, but they cannot. We should consider why. United States is not the United States of 40 years ago. 40 years ago, the American, because of the mantiq of power, imposing their will to any country in the world. But today, Saudi Arabia, on behalf of the United States, cannot defeat even Yemen. Even Yemen. Who is Saudi Arabia? A regime which was established 100 years ago. And it is 100 years that Saudis are receiving oil in their country. It is 100 years which they are purchasing weapons, different weapons. Since last 100 years till now, they had no participation in any war. For the first time, they started a war against a country which has no plane, fighters, has no tank to fight. Everyday bombardment of the country.
And still they are struggling.
And still, nobody says Saudi won the war against Yemenis. This shows that power today is not enough.
This also reminds me of the analogy of Karbala, where the number of people on Imam Hussein's side was just 72, and then 30,000 plus on the Yazidi side. The same as in the case of Yemen itself.
Exactly.
Powerless people, no ammunition, and then Saudi, amongst the world's biggest importers of weapons, still they're not able to.
Exactly.
Haji, two more questions, and then in the interest of time, we will wind up and let the lines be open for some questions. A message to the youth from your side.
I remember my youth time. Still I am young, but that time I was younger than now. And I think the world is going to be changed. We should look for a new world order, a real new world order.
Ahsant.
Not the new world order which the Americans are going to impose, like new Middle East. Yes, we are looking for the new Middle East, but to our understanding, the new Middle East is new Islamic Middle East, not new American Middle East. So many things are going to be changed. God says, إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. God will not change a society before that society changes itself. It is the time of change. We should consider we are which part of this changing. What is the significance of the new world which we are facing? Awakening of Islam. 40, 50 years ago, religion was not, as I mentioned, in the life of the society. Quran was for Qabristan, and when somebody dies, just to read few ayah for the man who passed away. That was the only use for Quran. But the messages of Quran is bringing change to the world. This is what God is looking for, asking for, sending 1,224 1,000 prophets for that, to give this message. Human being, look to yourself. A world is inside you. You can change the world. In these circumstances, we should say, if we have یک اهرم داشته باشیم, if we have one instrument and one place for learning of this instrument, we can move the earth. This should be our slogan. We should consider we are in which part of the changes. For these real changes, we need first understanding of Islam. This is what we have done when we were youth in Bangalore. We established library. We asked book from Najaf, from Iran, from Europe, the Islamic book, to understand Islam. When we say La ratbin wa la yabisin illa fi kitabin mubin, everything is there in this book. We should understand this book. We should learn this book. We should learn Quran. Not only reading Quran, tafsir Quran, the meaning of Quran, we should understand. First step is understanding of the real Islam. At the same time, we should take care, because when we are talking about Islam, we are talking about the Islam which is against the cruel powers, which is talking about justice, which is talking about coexistence, which is talking about not creating differences among the Muslims, which is talking about being together in front of the enemies of Islam. This is the Islam. But if some group like Sadr Islam, like the time of the Prophet, who tried to use Islam against Islam, to use mazhab against mazhab, we should take care. Nowadays, Imam Khomeini said, even President Carter is talking about Islam. He says, I am Islam Shanas. I know Islam. Everybody can say that we are Islam Shanas. We should recognize the Islam which we are talking. What is the real Islam? The Islam which can create a revolution inside of my life, my personal life, and inside our society. Then we should recognize the significance of the real Islam. Imam Khomeini teaches us, you should take care, because there is American Islam also. American Islam is there also. It is not Islam. The clothes is Islam, but inside is arrogant. The enemies of Islam. And we should take care. Nowadays, there are some groups who are talking about Islam, but they are creating the bad thing among the Muslims. They are talking about differences of the Muslims. Sometimes between the Shiite and Sunnis, as I mentioned, Imam Khomeini said, who are creating differences between Shiite and Sunnis? They are not Shiite, they are not Sunnis. And sometimes among the Shiite themselves. We should take care. We should take care. They should tell us why, when the Maraj-e-Izam, our religious leaders, are saying and instructing us that you should not say something against Sahaba, for example, or about the wives of the Prophet, they are insisting on that. Do they follow the same policies towards United States, towards Israel, towards the cruel people here and there? No, but creating differences among the Muslims. They are munafiq. They are creating tafraqah among the Muslims. And tafraqah will make us fashal, will make us weak. وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا. Don't fight each to other. Why? Because it will make you weak. And that's why I request the youth people, first insisting on understanding of Islam, at the same time recognizing the real Islam. The real Islam.
That's a very good message, Haji Agha.
Thank you.
You make my last question very, very easy, and I think part of the answer to the last question is already answered. Being a foreign minister, you represented an Asian giant like Iran, and it was your responsibility to see how Iran is portrayed in the world. The reputation of Iran rested with the foreign ministry as a foreign minister during your time. My question now is that you have just identified that as a youth we should be laying emphasis on studying the Holy Quran, understanding the religion before we even embark on various activities.
Yes.
How we know that certain countries around the region are the enemies, and we know certain countries are not maybe open enemies, maybe they are munafiqs. How can we handle people within the own community who have this anti-Iran feeling, anti-Iran thought process? They are our own brothers. So it is the reputation of the country that we are talking about. What is our responsibility? How can we as individuals clear and erase this anti-Iran feeling?
We should have open-minded. Maybe some people, very honestly, they have some questions about Iran. They should raise the question and receive the answer. Maybe sometimes something is not clear to them. The best way is clarification, explanation about the situation. Then our first message is with those who have some questions about Iran. We should sit together. We should be ready for a peaceful, friendly, brotherly Q&A, raising question, receiving the answer, and make challenges, no problem. But anti-Iran for what? Anti-Iranian nations, anti-Islamic Republic of Iran, anti-Imam Khomeini, anti-Ayatollah Khamenei. This is what the US is following for the last 40 years. The last 40 years, the main target of the United States in different governments was to destroy Islamic Republic of Iran. Why? Because they did not accept the slogans, the policies, and resistance of Iranian nation. One day everything in Iran was in their hand, but today our nation, our people are insisting on their own position based on their own benefits. Then anti-Iran, anti-Imam Khomeini means following the United States. This is different than having some questions. Having questions, having some doubt, we should sit together brotherly. But making propaganda against Iranian Islam, the Iranian people's belief on Islam, means supporting the followers of American Islam. In the name of Sunni or in the name of Shiites, establishment of such a movement is in doubt. In doubt. And that's why Brother Mohsen, I think it was a very good opportunity to talk with the Indian brothers and sisters and explaining as I could. And inshallah in some other opportunity.
Thank you very much, Haji Agha. It was very nice having you. If there are any questions that the audience has, and we are open for the questions on the phone line as well. Any questions from the audience?
Sir, any message for our channel? We are running the Islamic channel.
Yeah.
Any message for us?
This is another channel?
Yes, Ya Zahra channel.
Ya Zahra.
A message was Ya Zahra TV. It's a community-based initiative run by the youth for the community. Yes.
Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha
Allahumma salli ala
is the cornerstone. From one side, she belongs to Prophet. Then we can understand Nubuwwat, Prophet's message. From the other side, she belongs to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, and we can understand imamat and wilayat, which is the leadership in the Islamic society. From the other side, Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha belongs to Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Hazrat Zainab and Kulsum, which introduce us insisting for haqq, resistance for Islam and the way of the Prophet and the way of the Imamat. When we look to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, the poet says who can bring a song like Imam Hassan? Who did this? Who did that? Who can bring a song like Imam Hussein, who has created Shahadat in Karbala? And the messenger of Karbala, Hazrat Zainab. I think the responsibility of Channel Ya Zahra is very important and very heavy to introduce comprehensively this name which is Kawsar, this name and this person Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha, which Prophet said and God said, who likes Zahra liked me, who disturbs Zahra disturbs me. This is the position of Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha. She is linked to Nubuwwat, Prophet. She is linked to Imamat, Imam Ali alayhi salam. She is linked to Ashura. She is linked to the messenger of the message of Karbala, Hazrat Zainab. And somehow she is the cause of all these happening. It is very important. It is very important. And that's why her father calls her Abiha, the mother of her father. And we pray to God to follow all men and women, our wife, our mothers, our daughters, everybody, Hazrat Zahra Salamullah alayha's way. Thank you very much.
And we have one more question, Haji.
See, nowadays we are listening more about MI6, Sadiq Saraji group, and we are going back to Mottaki link. Can you have clarity, because Indian Shia Shias particularly are more diverted from all other sides. Like we have Akbar here, we have got Malangi here. Now we have got no Siraji propagandas, which is more than in India. And people are diverting their faith from it. That's the reason there is a clash happening within the community.
I don't want to nominate any specific group, but what I say is, those who are inviting you for unification, inviting you for being together, inviting to realize this message of Quran, إنما المؤمنون إخوة, and being yad wahida, which is the message of Quran, those are following the real Islam. Those who are inviting you for division, for creating of differences, if somebody is doing this or that, standing here fighting with the other, we do believe this is not our real Islamic responsibility for today, which we are facing with our real enemies who would like to kill Islam, who would like to kill the Muslims, and they are killing the Muslims. Who are Daesh? Who were Al-Qaeda? Who were Taliban? Who are Jabhat al-Nusra? Who are they? Are they Muslims? Did they created a good picture from our Prophet, which is Nabiyur Rahmah, Prophet of Rahmat? Are they Muslims? The picture which they have drawn to the mind of the people in the world for the last several years, are all of them have created by the American plan, by the Zionist scenario, and by the petrodollars of some, unfortunately, Muslim countries, and training in some Muslim countries, killing hundreds of thousands of Shiite people in Iraq, in Syria, in other places, in Yemen, is Islamic instruction? What's your position for that? Being united, working for unification, and taking away from dividing of the Islamic society. Those who are working for dividing of the society, they are not following Islam. This is my understanding. If anybody has something else, they can sit together. I do not nominate any specific group, but Imam Khomeini taught us the elements, the factors. These are the factors. Who are supporting Palestine, they should have some significance. Everybody cannot say we are supporting Palestine. Everybody cannot say we are against the Zionists. But from behind, shaking hand with the Zionists, we should take care. Thank you very much. I think we should go to the next program.
Thank you very much, Haji Agha, for your time. We appreciate all the efforts that you've taken to come over here. Inshallah, we pray for the long life, your long life, and we also wish that India and Iran share good relations and be successful together. Thank you very much.
I thank you.
Thank you.
Khuda Hafiz.
On behalf